You must know that first. Can't nothing and nobody fade what we trying to do and what we about to do. Second thing is, we got this game on our level. You understand what I'm saying?
Yo, welcome to another episode of In Space. I'm your host, Chris Connor, brought to you by the good people of DraftKings Sportsbook, New York Life, Birdsall Law Firm. The show is about Trey Murphy. We're going to put a spotlight on his overall leap and some of the things that he's improved on. That's a lot of good stuff on film that I want to talk about and give him some shine towards the end of the month that he had. Not the end of the month, the entire month of March, his best month as a professional. So put that right out in the air for you guys. Pelicans are currently about to finish up their final 4 games of the year. Big homestand, three games between Sacramento, Memphis, New York Knicks, finish in Minnesota. The odds, I saw a lot of things today on Twitter about, probability odds. And for the first time in a little bit after that Clippers win, Pelicans have some nice odds in their favor towards everything possibly coming full circle and then finishing where the goal, I think, before the stint being first in the West happened, before the beginning of the year, before preseason, before anything happened, once the offseason was over, what a lot of people talked about was just not being in the play-in. And after a roller coaster season, as it always is, it feels like being a Pelican supporter. They have the cards in their hands, and they're playing the right basketball at the right time to really put themselves in a really good position versus possibly having to play 1 or 2 play-in games. We'll see what happens. But, 2 weeks ago, it would have been hard to tell a lot of people that they would be in this spot. But the reason this show is going to be about, or it is about Trey Murphy, is we've spent time talking about Brandon Ingram playing like a superstar. Tremendous month, should be up for Western Conference Player of the Month after the March that he had. We talked about Jonas being involved in. We talked about Herb Jones being spectacular. And yes, we spent a lot of time talking about Trey Murphy. But this show, I like to go deep into giving someone their flowers and just the overall spotlight. And listen, man, I talked to somebody, I want to say, like a fan of the show, and shout out to y'all that continue to pull up, man. Get in the comment box, ask questions, subscribe, holler at me. I'm gonna be replying and chopping it up with y'all as much as possible. And the same for the Twitter spaces that we end up doing. But there was a fan of the show that asked, he said, it feels like you're a big fan of Trey Murphy. And he said, I mean, everyone is. I don't have the question in front of me, but he basically was trying to figure out why. And thing about Trey, I don't know if there's like a huge difference. I'm a big fan of a lot of players on the team when we're talking basketball. Herb Jones is probably the most like visual. Yeah, well, it's probably a tie between BI when BI has it going and Herb. But I think overall, I enjoy Herb from just a natural, bare bones sense of basketball. I enjoy watching him play the game. Just every element of just the screening, the ability to dribble the ball, how he plays defense, doesn't really look to do anything else. Really off the court, you don't really hear much from him. He's just about hooping and just perfecting his craft, but he does it in so many different ways and doesn't really care if he gets credit for it or not. It's just really about winning. But the Trey Murphy conversation has always been interesting, I think, because for the first time, I would say in recent memory, we're talking outside of the no-brainers, outside of the draft picks that were Chris Paul or Anthony Davis, Zion, outside of those, it feels like to me, first round pick wise, Trey was the first one that I remember to where everybody was in agreement. Even before the Pelicans made the trade with Memphis and ended up trading down, he was the first guy I remember in a very long time where everybody was like, no, that's the one. That's the one you pick. He's the guy that you need on this team. And we talked about the shooting, we talked about the defense, but it wasn't an argument. And then you get into the team building. But Trey, what we thought about it then and what we have continued to see now is that Trey would fit any team, right? There's a lot of teams that's probably scratching their heads right now and not being able to pick that guy and watch him continue to develop and put pieces together. This show will have, I put together a lot of clips that I hope y'all enjoy of the ways that he's improved. Also want to give a big shout out to his parents, Kenny Murphy and Elbita Murphy. I haven't gotten a chance to meet many parents. Maybe I've met some relatives of current players or former players, but none as hands-on and as active with the community, with the fans as they've been. Elbita is always on Twitter, chatting with fans, helping out fans get Trey merchandise, contacting real dope person. We got a chance to do a charity event with Boot Krewe Media. Got a chance to be a part of a charity event. She was huge in that. And then, with Kenny Murphy, even dating back to the spaces and the live show that we did last year, he just loves basketball. So he'll talk to anybody about anything basketball related. And Trey would tell you that's his toughest critic, but it's fun anytime you talk to Kenny about whether it be his son or just basketball in general. You can tell that not only is he a coach, but he breathes the game, and you can see that can but play out in Trey as he continues to get more confident and comfortable in this role, for better or for worse. Because his rise to being where he's at, a lot of people don't know how it started. A lot of people don't know the leaps that he's had to take to get here. We just see he comes out of Virginia. We see a 3-and-D dude coming out from that school, and you automatically think, oh, that's going to be amazing. And then things start to develop from things you maybe didn't realize: athleticism, shot creation. It's slowly but surely, and the work that he's put in. So enough with that. But all in all, watching that guy develop for a franchise in which we haven't had a large influx of rookies, to being able to watch them develop, pan out, and see them go from year to year like we have with Trey. That's the beauty in it, I think for me. And him having that month, the best month of his career in March, was fantastic. And it was like everything slowly just got put together, and it was dope. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the month that he had and the basketball that he's playing right now coming into April. Because, look, no matter how this season ends, Trey's forced himself through some rookie pains early on, some questionable maybe decisions in regards to rotation and how he was used, how he was played minutes wise. March was the first month where he got 35 minutes per game, the most I believe he's had in a large sample size for a month. Everything was able to be put on display, regardless of who was out there and who he had to play against. And that was big. And you can just see him being more and more an important part of the team. When Zion was healthy, talked about, I said it often, like when Zion has the basketball, he knows what Trey Murphy is at all times. Well, now with Brandon Ingram in this month that he's had, Trey Murphy, he's known what he's been at all times. You see them working out together before games. You see the trust and everything building to where no matter what the issues that Trey was having before, no matter what defensive improvements that he needs or needed to make, he was playing through them and having the opportunity to. And that was Amazing. Because he's a very important piece of this team. And I'm going to show you guys some things to go about it, to go with that just from a splits alone. We're going to get into March, but let's just go period in regards to this year. So here you have Trey splits and wins and losses. Basically what that now you may say when he plays good, they win, right? You know, or you know what you might say, when they win the game, when they're able to win the game, Trey Murphy plays well. And when they lose, he just, you know, he doesn't perform well. I look at it as just as simple importance. I mean, this is big, you know, to me, the plus minus. And we'll go through some other elements, but everything is different in regards to wins, from attempts, from activity to everything is better. And that just basically tells you something that I think most people already knew. When you end up winning a game, or if Trey Murphy has a good game, the odds of you winning kind of high, or they're strong. That's just been, and that you can talk about that dating back to last year. It's dope to see the numbers for the year match that. Here's an extended look at that. You see it, the percentages. The field goal percentage is higher. The 3-point shooting is way different. Even a free throw shooting for an elite free throw shooter, that's higher. The true shooting percentage is different, but the usage tells a story, man. When that guy is involved and everybody is going out of their way, doesn't mean he has to shoot the ball 30 times, but when everybody is going out of their way to get him involved and make him a part of their offense, and I'm sure he's not the only person that the numbers will reflect those kind of differences on the scale. But you can tell that for him, it makes a big difference on this team. And that's for a lot of reasons. Now, I mean, let's get into the improvements. We're gonna have some fun here, man. Like the month of March, 3-point attempts. October, November, December, January, and February. And this was from Christian Clark. He was averaging about 5 a game, close to 6 some months. March, he was like at 8.9. He almost finished averaging 9 threes a game for the month of March. That's a big, large leap for anybody. That shows that your players have trust and believe in you and are treating you as an important piece of what's going on right now. And your coaching staff is also making it an effort to make sure that you are having the opportunity to see the basketball and do something with it. And then it takes the execution on his end to continue to, put all of those things together. I mean, the month of March, Trey, he was the second youngest player to ever make 10 threes. He had 32 points in that first Clippers game, 10 threes for that in that outing. 3 days ago, there's from Danny Neckel. Trey Murphy III is currently the only player in NBA history to have a shooting season at 60% from 2, 40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. You get, you got 85 players have attempted at least 50 deep threes this year. Who's been most efficient? It's from basketballnews.com. Trey Murphy's tied for 5th at 41%. Crazy. Schmidt, a colleague here with Boot Krewe Media, was talking. Laurie Markkinen ended up, he's the first player in NBA history they put up. It was 200 threes, 20 plus threes, and 100 dunks. Per Schmidt's numbers, Trey Murphy was at 188 threes and 79 dunks. Imagine that. Laurie Markkinen is the best player on his team. He gets a chance to shoot the ball as many times as he wants to. Trey Murphy is still a role player. His potential is higher than that, but he's a role player. And you mean to tell me he's probably going to finish with over 200 threes and will be close to 90 dunks depending on how the year ends? That's special. That's special. In the game, I mean, he also dropped 40, right?
40 bars. 40 bars. Tell me what you gonna do for the 40 bars. 40.
In that game, he joined CJ McCollum as the only Pelicans players in franchise history. This from my guy Will Guillory. What up, bro? To score 40 points on 20 or fewer field goal attempts. That's special. That's special. I'm not saying Trey Murphy's a Hall of Fame player, but I'm not telling you he's not building some type of trajectory towards it. That's probably wild, right? That's probably complete. But man, like some of this stuff is in the context of you get a healthy Zion back who depending on who you talk to, is probable to return. I keep telling y'all that, but it's feeling like we're close. The way Brandon's playing right now, you mean to tell me Trey Murphy? So you got CJ McCollum. Trey Murphy's a fourth option, the third option some night, a fourth option others. He also has the right situation towards developing. But let's go through like some clips so I could show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me show you my favorite play, because some of the things that we talked about earlier with Trey is that, like, everybody was saying, people were screaming me about it. Trey got to shoot the ball more. He got to shoot contested shots. He got to, he's the best shooter on the team. He got to put the ball up, and I got you. I just felt like he wasn't comfortable with it yet, and that really wasn't his game yet. But man, look here. When the confidence starts to flow for that brother, you get stuck. This is my favorite Trey shot, because I'm gonna show you what it turns into afterwards. Look at this.
Quick outlet to Murphy. Two guys between him and the rim. Oh, he'll just pull back and take the three.
Oh, he got a lot of these in this run that he's been having, to where that's when you know, all right, well now, because that's not I'd say 60% of coaches, if you ask them if that's a good shot, they might tell you no. But it's a good shot for Trey Murphy. Because look what happens when smart teams adjust to that. Look what kind of look ends up happening and what he does.
Another turnover, the 13th turnover for Golden State. Ingram to the basket and lays it.
Same kind of look, right? He's bringing the ball up the court, looking around, head on a swivel. Those have been shots, and most of them are going in. Golden State's a smart team. DaVincio, White Dante comes over to contest. You missed the trailer man, who just so happened to be the best player on the team, and Brandon Ingram gets a layup. Like, that's big, but that only happens due to what Trey is putting on film right now, putting on the floor, and the month that he had, and the overall year that he's having. Like, people were confused about his ability to, surprise. I remember Antonio Daniels saying early in Trey's rookie year, like, Trey has bounce. And he said surprising bounce, but like real deal bounce. Year later, he's in a few different posters, tip dunks, and kind of close to winning a slam dunk contest. But that mixture at that size, 3-point shooting, dunking ability, it's tough. It's tough for teams to guard. So we'll go back to the Golden State game. Look how a smart team decides to guard him, and look how he adjusts this time.
Curran. Trey Murphy, a little mid-range jumper is good.
You can't do anything about that, right? Steph decides to do the smart thing, and it's a hard contest on what might be a 3-point attempt. Trey decides to drive. Draymond, and Trey was getting a lot of this earlier in the year, but now with the way Brandon is playing and CJ getting more off-ball looks, the floor is kind of unbalanced depending on who's. It's tough. You can't guard everything. Ty Lue talked about that. I talked to Kenny about that earlier. Ty Lue mentioned that in the press conference after one of the games. Like, you can't guard everything. So Draymond decides, all right, well, I'm gonna take away his head of steam, right? Because if I meet him at the rim under the cup, it's not going to end well. He's either going to the line 90+%, or I'm getting put in the bucket. So Draymond, very, very smart defender, one of the smartest to ever play, in my opinion. He takes away his space. Meets him to where Trey has to make a move in a short area. He's not there yet to make a move like that in a phone booth, I think, consistently, especially not against a defender like that. But he takes the mid-range jumper. And just when you think he got him figured out, same game. This time he's coming off a screen. Pelicans coaching staff. He, hey.
Point game. Golden State having a great third quarter. Murphy, the floater is true.
I'll probably count maybe twice I've seen Trey Murphy make a floater. In that kind of game, he attempted 2, by the way. 2 floaters in that game, makes the second one. Wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, this wasn't in March, but the ultimate confidence and the glimpse of what, like, while he's adjusting and he's getting better on the fly, he's very aware. He's very aware of how teams are playing him. The minutes that he's getting now, it's empowering him to put together more and more of the things he worked on in the offseason, like this.
Trey thought about it against Murray. Great crossover and hard to the hole.
Listen, bro. If Trey gon' reset his dribbles and hit you with a tween crossover finish, because how do you guard it? How do you really guard it? You have to. I just told you where he ranks at for the month when it comes to 28-foot threes, or I'm sorry, on the year, 28-foot threes. So you gotta guard them far out. But if you guard them if you get too close and you overextend yourself, you in a bucket. My brother turned around. Poor guy. Poor guy. I mean, it's beautiful to watch him playing with freedom. Antonio, that's another thing Antonio Nance talks about, freedom. He's playing with freedom and the confidence that he speaks with, right? The confidence in which that matches his personality. That may rub some people the wrong way, but listen, the community loves it. The fans love it. And he's putting on a show. Like, now this, I showed y'all my favorite shot, but this was my favorite play because there's just nothing. It's like, it's nasty. It's nothing. You couldn't ask her if you were the Rockets defender. What do you do?
It's a quick outlet. Back come the Pels. It's a great shooter here.
Do I play the drive? I gotta respect the shot. I mean, there's a hesitation cross three. No, because the scout reporter tell you that's not really his game. He's putting things together, and to have that month right now, bring that momentum into April, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because, listen, the Pelicans need it. They have needed it. And this is where, you're talking about a ceiling for Trey. This is where people start talking about Rashard Lewis, right? That's been a comparison that I've seen a lot. People mention Klay Thompson. I think he still has some work to do with shooting in motion, coming off of curls and stuff versus shooting completely set as a set shooter. But yo, man, I mean, regardless, this is absolutely fun to watch. There was another video that I had that I think I forgot to put in here, where he comes off a screen and shoots a three. It's developing, and as the players continue, as the talent continues to develop around him, as the trust in him continues to develop in him, and the overall trust, you get back-to-back plays of him putting together what he's being told, and how we talked about in the beginning of the show, adjusting to the way people are playing him. My dog Justin, Boot Krewe, Pro Pills Talk, he put this up earlier. Look at this.
And the run out by Richards. They'll let the play go. For Charlotte. They run out, and it's a shove from behind.
Even if you meet him, you want to get physical with him. You want to try to make sure you want to take away his space, drives past you, and it's not just strictly for dunks, it's taking the contact. It's going baseline and finishing on the other side. And once it's creating the contact because he's a 90% free throw shooter. And I told you guys earlier about where he is 60, 40, 90 right now, 60% on twos. I mean, he's putting himself in a really special category as a player right now. Dude his size, we don't know what his ceiling is going to be. And then that's where you go to the other side of the floor, defensively. You know, one of the reasons, depending on who you ask, that Trey minutes have kind of been up and down, and we've, and you could, that was a different conversation as to why that is, or the reason that Trey's kind of been picked out at certain different exchanges throughout his time in New Orleans here, as he finishes his second season. But it mainly stems from the defensive side of the ball, right? You want to see him do more. I mean, it's no way around that. You want to see him do more. You want to see him rebound, which we all got excited about after his first year. He did really well. Someone had to step up after Josh Hart left in that role, as a 3-4, depending on the game. But the defensive side of the ball, whether it was off ball, whether it was him getting moved around on ball, whether it was, maybe a silly foul here, missed rotation, whatever the case may be, that hindered him. But the Pelicans played some really good defense in the month of March. And they've been playing some really good defense it's been a few other months this year. They're going to finish at the end of the year a really solid team defensively by analytics. It's been talked about a lot about, no matter how you feel about Willie Green and his staff's ability to create offense, or to be creative in the way that they manufacture offense versus just simply relying on their stars' ability to create. They've been able to get guys to buy in defensively, but it seemed like Trey had a lot of things to learn, and he's not alone. Everybody can't be Herb Jones. Everybody can't be as good as, in my opinion, Dyson Daniels has been defensively. Trey had some things to learn. And I think when people hear the college Virginia, they think, They think, how did it not train up? No, it takes time. And I think it's an element of him needing to get stronger. I think once he's able to get stronger and not getting bumped off of the initial contact that defenders throw at him, I think that will be big for him, because sometimes he gets caught in a lot of different fouls just reacting after getting pushed off of his square, in a sense. Him being able to kind of being able to hold his ground there by simply bulking up and getting stronger will help him out, along with the mental reps that he's been getting. But I don't think that it's a coincidence. You look at all the different analytical stats from Raptor to plus minus to win shares. They support Trey, just like they support Herb Jones, but they really support Herb. I mean, they really support Trey Murphy. And I don't think that's all simply due to what he's doing offensively. Defensively, he's made some strides. He's gotten better. Still has some way to go. But we just talked about, I showed you a bunch of different transition looks that he got. Well, when you're able to turn defense into offense and he's able to figure out some things and make some plays on defense, for our final clip, you get this.
Zion has been very active as Curry on the breakaway misses the layup, but watching him on the bench, he and Jose Alvarado have been very invested on the bench while they've been hurt. Yeah.
All created by Trey Murphy. So shout out to Trey. I'm happy to see him starting to put it all together, and hasn't scratched the surface, I think, of what he can be and what he will be. Now that it is clear he is going to be like 35 minutes. This won't be the last time we see him play 35 minutes in a month. He's crucial. And whether it had to happen the easy way or the hard way, whether it came in an odd way from a development perspective, if it wasn't always pretty, if the G League stints from last year were odd, if he, the taking him out of the starting lineup didn't make sense, there's a lot of things you could point at. But we're here now. We're here to where I think he's immovable now in the type of opportunities that he's going to get, I might be overreacting to 35 minutes per game for a month. But no, but I don't think I am. I don't. Well, we'll see. I guess when healthy, it's kind of tough to tell. But it would make me happy if this wasn't his final month getting those kind of minutes. I think he's earned them. He's put in the work, and he's putting in the results. So Trey, hopefully that continues as this team chases being able to not have to play a play-in game. I am not coming to New Orleans again for another play-in game. Last year was great. I'm coming back to the city. They got to be in the offs, 5th, 6th seed, wherever, 5th, 6th seed, figure it out. It's right there. Put it together. And, let's start talking about possible first-round upsets and how this team can once again look like when fully healthy, hopefully. Got to give a shout out to our people here at Birdsall Law Firm. This podcast is sponsored by Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Krewe Media, located at 918 Porter Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413. If you or someone you know has been involved in an accident, and be sure to mention that we sent you. Birdsall Law Firm, the official lawyer injury. Oh, man, I messed that up. The official injury lawyers of Boot Krewe Media. Also, got to give a shout out to our people here at Boot Krewe Media, as I completely messed up the overlay. You see the code down there is Boot, BOOT. College basketball season is over, but there's going to be a lot of different promos with baseball season in full swing. No pun intended there. And the NBA playoffs about to start. It's been 5 for 150. It's been 5 for 200. Be on the lookout for what DraftKings Sportsbook has cooking up. And if you're not involved, if you are not a member, please be sure to do it responsibly. We can all help you with, referral services if you or someone has a gambling problem. But use that code BOOT, tap in with the guys here. It's our preferred sportsbook of choice here, DraftKings Sportsbook. So, appreciate y'all, man. There will be playbacks. There will be spaces upcoming as, this season ends. And, look, man, the Pelicans are 6 or 5th seed. I consider it a complete success. I think that it maybe didn't look the way you thought it would at some point, the way you would have liked for the full year. But if they can recover it in this manner, it will be great, especially with the momentum that they have. Yeah, that's it. So appreciate y'all, man. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think about Trey Murphy's improvements. What's your favorite game? What's your favorite moment? What would you like him to add to his game next? What do you think about his defense? How does it improve? Whatever you got, talk about it here. With that, though, you were in space. You out. Najee.
In the building. I told you last time, get with us. Well, get out of here, man.